Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we're looking at something absolutely massive. We are talking about a huge, highly structured data drop that perfectly bridges the worlds of high-profile showbiz personalities and serious legislative organization. Today, we're unpacking the highly anticipated, truly colossal grand reveal of the Princess Heartline third batch for the 20th Congress of the Philippines. It's a huge roster, and we're going to break it all down so you can see exactly how this giant puzzle fits together. Okay, let's dive into this by looking directly at the official announcement itself. This initiative is formally billed as the Gen Z for Princess Heartline third batch grand reveal video for 20th Congress of the Philippines. And what's really notable here is the leadership spearheading the whole shebang. This presentation comes directly from Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano and House Speaker Boji Dai. Right out of the gate, that gives this entire roster a very official institutional framework. But the sheer scale of this lineup is what we really need to focus on first. 144. Just think about that for a second. That is the massive number of individual members introduced in this single, highly curated batch. Organizing and announcing 144 distinct names all at once is a major logistical feat, right? It requires a very specific framework so that we and the Congress itself don't get totally overwhelmed. To prevent that kind of information overload, the architects behind this didn't just throw 144 names at the wall to see what sticks. No, they meticulously organized these members into 6 distinct, carefully labeled tiers. You've got the featured roster, the main names, the official list, the extended roster, the legacy roster, and finally, the final roster. This tiered approach gives a ton of structure and hierarchy to what would otherwise be a pretty daunting list. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how neatly it organizes our deep dive for today. First, the grand reveal context. Second, the featured and main rosters. Third, the official and extended lineups. Fourth, legacy and final additions. And finally, complete roster takeaways. All right, let's jump into part 1, the grand reveal context. As we noted from the source announcement, this isn't just an arbitrary list of Gen Z influencers. The involvement of these 2 key legislative leaders, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano on one side and House Speaker Boji Dai on the other, provides the official runway for this whole presentation. We're impartially looking at how these 2 figures have officially framed this specific Gen Z roster for the upcoming 20th Congress. It's a completely fascinating intersection of pop culture and political structure. Moving right along to part 2, the featured and main rosters. Scanning the featured side, incredibly high-profile anchor names kick things off. I mean, we're talking Catherine Bernardo, Janela Salvador, and Luisa Andalio, building momentum all the way down to Ivana Alawi. Parallel to them, the main names roster counters with equal Gen Z energy, from AC Bonifacio down to Hadia Santos. The curation here literally places maximum star power directly at the forefront to hook the audience. And the momentum absolutely doesn't slow down in the second half. The featured roster packs in major stars like Jane de Leon, Liza Soberano, and Julian Barretta. Meanwhile, the main names deliver standout personalities like Fryang Smith and Andrea Berlentis. They are keeping the heavy hitters coming without skipping a single beat. Okay, on to part 3, the official and extended lineups. Before we get into the names, let's briefly contrast the naming conventions used here, because it's super deliberate. On one side, we have an official list, implying a foundational core group of individuals that are structurally central to the batch. On the other side, we have the extended roster. This phrasing really suggests a broadening of the net, right? An outward reach to bring in a wider variety of personalities to complement that core. Diving into these middle tiers, the official list lays down a really steady foundation anchored by names like Eliza Borromeo and Maxine Trinidad. To extend that reach, the extended roster casts a wider net right side by side, bringing in vibrant personalities like Angelina Cruz and Nancy Jewel McDonough. And this brilliantly illustrates just how deep this batch actually goes. We see Atasha Malach and Kaori Oinuma securing the official core, while Angie Salvacion and Isabel Ortega perfectly match that depth over on the extended side. We're 2/3 of the way through this massive list, and that strict organization is holding incredibly firm. Let's pivot to part 4, legacy and final additions. Opening up the legacy roster, boom, those anchor names immediately grab our attention again, especially Francine Diaz sitting right there in the 3rd slot, piecing alongside Jillian Ward. Pairing with them, the final roster introduces Shaya Vigor and Miles Ocampo. It's a smart strategy ensuring high-profile engagement right down to the very end of the list. Let's move to and see how this builds to the grand finale. The legacy roster finishes super strong with figures like Kendra Kramer and Geely Donka. Correspondingly, the final roster concludes the entire journey with Ren Escanio and Claire Castro. That brings us to exactly 144 names, all perfectly categorized. Finally, Part 5, Complete Roster Takeaways. Now, if we take a step back, a truly fascinating mathematical detail emerges from all this. We have 6 equal slices here. Each of the 6 rosters we just explored contains exactly 24 names. 24 times 6 equals exactly 144. No way is that an accident. This proves that we aren't just looking at a random collection of Gen Z figures, it is a highly curated, mathematically balanced, and perfectly symmetrical assembly. So, the crucial point is the meticulous organization and sheer volume behind this grand reveal for the 20th Congress. The architects of this list, working under the banner of the Senate President and House Speaker, took 144 high-profile individuals and slotted them into 6 distinct categories with exactly 24 members each. Honestly, it's basically a masterclass in structuring a massive volume of human data into digestible, perfectly weighted pillars. So what does this all mean for us? That leaves us with the ultimate question. With 144 members representing incredible reach, perfectly balanced across 6 distinct rosters, what tangible impact is the Princess Heartline third batch actually going to have on the 20th Congress of the Philippines? It's a staggering lineup, and watching how this heavily structured group is utilized in the days to come is going to be absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep asking questions, and I'll see you all next time.